What course of action should one take if the toilet at your partner's house doesn't flush properly, knowing full well that a second flush will give the game away? If it's a girl, I'm sleeping with its second flush time, but if I'm wanting to stay long term, I'm fixing that toilet flush. Text your partner or call them over to ask for a plunger if there isn't already one in the washroom. Everybody poops. It's not a big deal. Flush twice. This is the courtesy flush. It's not something to be embarrassed about. Carry baby wipes with you if you are worried about cleanliness. Don't flush baby wipes. Put them in a sealed plastic bag like a dog poop bag to throw away later. Poopery spray if you are worried about smell. I'd flush 10 times or even quarantine the bathroom till I solve my shit problem. I clogged the toilet at my friend's with a line of girls waiting to pee. No plunger and the water was 1 inch from overflowing. I manned up. Dove my hand in there and released the kraken. They're your partner. Everybody poops. Just do a second flush. It's not a big deal. If they try to make it into one, then they're too immature for me personally. Hold the lever down until the toilet has fully flushed. Don't just tap it once and expect your innards to all go down the drain. Besides all the flush twice responses, grab the tiny trash can. Empty it. Fill it with water and pour from high enough to get turbulence and inertia. This should shove whatever unholy mess is stuck in there past the pinch point and flush it. So, no atheists in foxholes or bathrooms? Is that what I'm reading? Second flush. Third flush. Whatever flush. No one cares. Especially when the toilet is troublesome. People are aware other people pee and poop. Do your thing. Flush it until it's gone. Wash your hands. And call it good. What are some truths men must accept sooner or later? That desire for sex for pure physical gratification without emotional commitment is something that is not as gender specific as society portrays it to be. It isn't uncommon for men to associate sex with deep emotional connection and for women to view it as simple pleasure or a tool without any strong emotional connection. There is a lot of internal and external conflict that happens when people try to force themselves or others into the stereotypes without respecting this. If you don't like you, it won't matter if anyone else does. After years of not liking myself, and chasing relationships with abusive or apathetic people who I desperately wanted them to like me in hopes that I would like myself, I had to change. It was a slow, gradual process. To trust people who liked me for who I was. And see myself in that light. But I'm still going through it. In my 43 years, I can honestly say that my life has only gotten better. And this was a major factor in that. Life isn't a competition unless if you make it that way. It's a lot more exhausting to be trying to be ahead than just being content. This applies to all aspects of life. If we weren't stepping on people's toes to get ahead, we could all be happier in the end. That being just my middle-aged pessimist view though. I've got 2. 1. Get your finances in order. It's easy to blame society for why you're not making enough money or why you're in debt. Frankly, I think it's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. However, it's up to you to change your situation. There are books and people out there that can help. Little by little you can make a difference. No matter how far you're in the hole. 2. I had a therapist who told me this, and I need to tell myself this all the time. If you procrastinate making a big decision in your life, you are still making a decision. They just feel really uncomfortable around wealthy people? I might get downvoted for admitting this, but I grew up wealthy. I'm a social worker, so I don't make a lot of money now. Although having family money has surely helped me survive in this profession. In my experience, many people who are actually wealthy give zero fucks about advertising it. Particularly those who grew up with wealth as opposed to those who suddenly acquired it later in life. You might be around a wealthy person and not know it at all. Sometimes they talk about things that are normal everyday life for them, and for me it's just like an unreachable dream. I have a cousin who is deep into politics and he has become extremely wealthy. Who would have thought? The other day I went with him to a dealership and he was like, "Give 2 of these and 3 of those." He was buying trucks like buying candy. I didn't ask why he needed so many. But I felt extremely uncomfortable since I could barely afford my 2006 Nissan. Yes. Because aside from a few rare cases, you can't be extremely wealthy without exploiting others. Especially exploiting the working class. Which is what I'm a part of. It just feels uncomfortable knowing they have gotten so much wealth from exploitations and that they'll never really have to work another day in their life. While millions of people who work every single day still suffer because lack of money. The economy in America especially is absolutely fucked, and I despise being a part of it. I learned years ago that except for the very, very wealthy like Warren Buffett types, there are always better off and worse off for everyone. My idea of wealthy is probably no more than middle class to many. I appear wealthy to some people. My son works with really rich folks in a professional capacity and he has the most laid-back attitude about wealth. People are people, some are awesome, some are assholes. Is paying for sex worth it? Do it and get it out of the way, cause it wears you down sow in some ways. At least for me it did. Better to get on with it. Yes, you are young and Therese no clock or anything. But still time can fly. And I don't want you to carry the virgin tag thoughts. Your first time will probably be bad or just okay. But after a few, you will be getting better. And it does instill some confidence where you are sure of what to do. Cause if you don't get that experience, it can further drop your confidence when you are pursuing someone. So yay. Just get on with it and get it out. Instead of worrying about having sex. Focus on developing yourself that would make you someone that another person would want to date and marry. And date with the intent on getting married. Find a spouse and save sex with them. My spouse and I did that and have been happily married 27 years. Also, studies show married couples have more and better sex life than single people. So don't focus on having sex, but finding the right person to share that experience with. And the fact you are a virgin will make you more unique than someone who's had multiple partners. Be different, don't be like everyone else. Depends on your view of sex. Losing your virginity always will be this seemingly huge feat that changes your life. Except the reality is, it isn't a big deal. Sex is great with the right person. An escort will know how to please you physically because they're a pro. But you'll miss out on the emotional side. For many people, that's the best thing about sex. I'd say try and shake the nervousness. Just speak to some girls. You lose nothing by being turned down. But have something to gain if it goes well. Even if that's just some confidence. Don't put pressure on yourself to have sex. It'll happen when it happens.